This is Supercharger kit number, I'm not going to tell you. It's here for a Supercharger kit. Of course, our package is skunk tube header, the LHT exhaust. The exhaust it's going to get is the LHT Twinloop. It's also going to get the updated radiator, which is the LHT Radiator and dual spall fan package. I just saw we did a cleanup on this. This one's a little grimy. The customer did tell me it's been sitting for a while, so we're going to go over the maintenance on it, make sure it's good shape. Of course, change the oil and the rest of the little things to do there. And we're going to start taking it apart and put the Supercharger kit on.
Pretty hard, pretty complicated.
Alright, we talked about this. I want to show you on this car as a good example. We see the belt here looking kind of rough. We replace it. As you see, this one, actually the cloth is delaminating on this one. So this is obviously getting a belt, because when the Supercharger is on here, the Supercharger sits here, that belt is going to be a 2.5 hour job to replace. But if we do it right now, we don't charge labor. We're just going to sell the customer the belt. So that saves money, and obviously it makes sense for future. So one of the first things to do is take the header off, or the factory exhaust manifold in this case, and we're going to be installing the new skunk tube header. This actually makes doing the clutch easier. Obviously, one thing we noticed is bright yellow filter right here. This is not the correct filter for an S2000. The S2000 takes a larger filter, and we've talked about that in past videos, so I'm not going to go over that. But if you're looking at buying a used S2000, or you're having your S2000 serviced, look out for that. You do not want the small micro filter on there. It needs to be the full size filter. Now, fortunately, we don't have a big problem with rust here in Florida, but on the backside of the cat, to remove the exhaust, these can be kind of stubborn. So what I recommend you do here is pre-soak these in penetrating oil. I'm not going to give away anybody's brand because everybody uses something different, but soak it before you do anything. We tend to spray them, stick our hands up in there. George likes to feel around in that hole there, and then come back and spray them again. Even after giving these a good clean, this is still in kind of rough shape, and this one is even rusting over here. So I think we're going to go ahead and repaint these, and I'm going to do them in that epoxy black. You've seen us do them before. It looks real nice against the radiator. Okay, clutch time. This is, of course, the factory clutch. This is an AP1, so it has the lighter of the two flywheels. The AP2 is a heavier flywheel. We do offer a one-piece billet Clutch Masters flywheel for the AP2s, but this is the lighter of the two, so we're going to stick with this one. We get asked all the time about clutches. What do you recommend? I'm talking to some guy on a forum, some guy on a store, he recommends this. Just doing a little math here. We've done 40-something S2000s. Every single one of them has a Clutch Masters clutch. Now, when I say 40 S2000s, that's just supercharged. We've done, I'm guessing, about another maybe 75 S2000s that are either turbocharged, supercharged with somebody else's kit, or even naturally aspirated on track cars. So we have about 125 hands-on experience with the clutch. When I say hands-on experience, actually installing it, driving it, breaking it in, clutch coming back so I can actually see if it still works. Not reviews on a forum or what some guy said, he knows this guy and somebody else said this. Actually hands-on. So keep that in mind. If you follow us, you probably somewhat follow some of the things we say. We don't use this because we get a fantastic deal on it. We get a discount on it, but there is a few clutches that get a lot cheaper than this and sell for the same price. So that would mean our profit margins would be much more on the other clutch. This is still the best one, period. I hope Clutch Masters don't get cocky and start putting their prices up, because I'm still going to buy it, but it really is the best clutch.
We got the S2000 header. You know which one it is. Scum 2 Alpha. I pulled the center console out and I found this just sitting there when I took the shifter out. Now what is that? Well, when I went to put this in, I bumped this and noticed it doesn't spring. So this is the spring that opens the cup holder, and I'm going to put it back together. Now we've put the spring and the little gray guy screwed back in, and how fancy is that?
Oh, look at that.
I had my finger in the way, it didn't open right.
Doing it. Oh, look at that.
It's full of garbage, but you know what? It opens up quick.
You know what? He'll notice that when he gets it back. That's going to be a nice little touch. You've had plenty of practice. You should know how to do it by now.
I don't.
Come on, one more shot.
All right.
We've got plenty of viewers watching. 17,000 subscribers want to see Esther make the box. Yes! You know what I'm going to do with this, right? Yes. Not only are we changing the spark plugs on this, I'm going to refinish this, make it look a tad better. I know I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. When you change your plugs, make sure you put on some of this space grease, or also known as anti-seize, whatever. But put this on your plugs. This car has had the original plugs and it's been in there for 75,000 miles, but they've been in there for 19 years and they were really tough coming out. So put some of this stuff on there. It will save you in the future, give you less headaches. So it's the end of the day. Everyone has gone home. It's just me. We're still working on the Kraftwerks kit. We're working on the exhaust right now. Here's our twin loop mufflers. You've seen those on the cars before. I'm going to try and get a sound clip this time. It seems like whenever I do a sound clip, if I get the camera too close, soon as it gets to a certain noise level, the sound literally just cuts out and it goes literally quiet. So I'm going to try and use a couple of socks, or maybe just one or two wind socks, see what that does, and place the camera a little bit further away and see if we can get a little bit better sound clip for you. There we go, the supercharger's on. You'll also see by some of our past videos, you'll notice how clean our lines are. When I say the lines, I'm talking about the Rotax fluid. This is the reservoir, and the way we route the lines on the filter. If you look at our past videos and look at other people's installs, you'll notice that ours are so much cleaner. We've kind of devised a routing way that we like, and it really does look nice and clean and tidy. So just something a little different, I figured I would show you. This was brought in by a customer that needs this repairing. If you can see here, this boss here is cracked. This holds a pulley, and then notice this is broken here. So we're going to take this area apart, clean it, and weld it so that it doesn't fail. Don't drop it! That's extremely fragile.
That one you could drop.
Probably bubble wrap. This one. That's
You know,
broken. I'm gonna play.
You know Birdman from Street Outlaws?
Yeah.
Well, he's over there.
How is it?
Really? So this supercharger is for a future build. It's coming up in about 2-3 weeks. This is the Black Series, which this part comes anodized black, but the compressor housing is silver. Some people think this is a turbo. It's not a turbo. It's driven by this guy back here. So we are going to get this painted a epoxy black, and it's a satin. It's going to almost match this. Alright, so this is what it looks like when you take the compressor housing off. I just see it's a pretty big wheel, which is one of the reasons these things make so much power, even though it's got a pretty small housing on there. So you know I gotta put one of these on it. The last one was pretty yucky and rusty. This is part of our TLC, and it's almost standard now. The nice thing about being black is, especially on red car, it kind of stands out, and it matches a few other little things on there, like the radiator ties that we did, and you know, a couple of pipes. Of course, got to finish off one of these too.
Say cheese.
Okay, this one is done, ready to be delivered. Give you a quick rundown what we did here. Did the LHT Kraftwerks Supercharger kit, Skunk 2 header. We did do the LHT Twinloop exhaust on this, LHT Radiator and spoil fan setup. A couple of little things we changed. The piping you know about. We decided to do these in polished because it really does offset everything in the car. Clean the valve cover and refinish the spark plug cover. You've seen us do that in past videos. LHT battery tie down, LHT master cylinder brace. Also some of the things to kind of match the paint, like the radiator supports right here, we did in black. They just do kind of offset the silver, and also goes with the black on the bracketry. So also we did fluids on this. If we look over a car and we'll suggest fluids, just if they haven't been done for a while. And also we had to put gas in this car. The gas smelled a little off before we start tuning and running the car hard on the dyno. We want to make sure it's got fresh gas, so we put a tank of 93 in here. We did an oil change, brake flush, clutch flush. Something to look out for, go look at your S2000, go look in here. If it looks like it's brown in there, and if you take the screen out, just put your fingers in here, lift this screen. If you can't see the bottom, you probably need to change your fluid, and this one was pretty bad. It almost looked like the bottom of a pond. So we cleaned that, flushed it. Also the clutch, same thing. Pull your clutch. If you can't see the bottom, you need to flush it and clean it. Okay, here's the results. Some people have PM'd me and asked me about dynos and how to read this, so I sometimes gloss over this and just assume everybody understands this. But this screen up here is representing horsepower and torque. This one over here is air fuel ratio. This one on the bottom, we can actually log boost. That'll let us know that everything is okay, and we can kind of keep tabs on that. Here is showing peak. It's making 407 at the wheels, 249 torque over here. This line over here represents the torque graph, which that's the nice thing about a supercharger is it comes up and stays pretty consistent. There's no big spike or anything. Power is very, very linear. Air fuel ratio, we typically shoot for the 12:1 line. Right here it's 11.9, 11.8, 12.0, right around there. This did really good power. The Twinloop that we use, we found flows as good as any of the exhausts we've tested, including our previous 70mm into dual 65s. But the Twinloop is just much quieter. I want to put a little video in here of me driving it using a GoPro, so we can try and get a sound clip as much as I can, because the exhaust really does sound good. It's quite a bit more work for us to build those, and a lot more materials. In fact, last few that we've done, we've realized actually how many hours we have in those things. So good power from that car. The car turned out really good. The customer has already told me he's looking at getting the paint done, maybe doing wheels and tires. I think he's really happy with the work we've done. I think he's going to get into the car a little bit more. So there we go. Good power on that car. aftermarket top on this, so it is kind of loud and it leaks through here. So I guess I'll keep my driving to slow speeds. Once I get to 30 miles an hour, it gets deafening in here. So I'll keep my speed down, just let it go through the RPM so you can hear it. As you hear, it's pretty quiet.